Good morning, everyone. This is Jeff and Lorena and Whiskey.
Hey folks, it's a great day to be alive. We almost weren't.
Oh my gosh, we had a big windstorm, I can say, last night. It woke us up. Our awning was flapping like crazy. We just had to get out and take care of it. Then our tent was flapping everywhere from our building, and we had to get out and take care of it.
I tell you what, it was crazy. So it was about, I don't know,
12:30. It was
12. Well, we
12:30.
came in at 12:30, so it was just before 12:30 when all hell broke loose. We were on the edge of a crazy thunderstorm. I mean, we only got less than 1/10 of an inch of rain, so we didn't get much rain, but man, the wind picked up and was blowing like crazy. So of course the first thing that shook us out of bed, our awning was out, and so that started catching some wind and basically rocking the whole RV. So we had to go out and put that awning away. And boy, I tell you what, lucky for y'all, we didn't have a action camera on helmets or something, because boy, that wasn't a sight to see. We were literally Crocs and underwear. And we run outside, and you know, Lorena kind of had the awning way down to block the sun, and so Lorena grabs the end of the awning to kind of keep the wind from ripping the whole dang thing off. And you know, I ran out and grabbed the strap to roll it up and told her to flip the switch to release it. And so we got that thing rolled up, and then we heard this big crash, and we headed over to the building, and we had one piece of tin that we hadn't secured the end. It's a cut piece, and so she literally lifted me up on the telehandler to go up to the top and put a clamp on to tie it down so the wind wasn't catching it and, you know, bending it or whatever. And
So
now,
in that moment when I was lifting him up, that we saw a big old
bolt of lightning.
bolt of lightning. Like, oh my gosh, it can go worse.
Now luckily, just to clarify, it wasn't close. The lightning was far off. Did we even hear the thunder?
No,
I don't remember
didn't hear
hearing thunder.
just
Yeah.
the lightning, yes.
So it was a bolt of lightning way off. There wasn't even a thunder crash, or at least there wasn't one that we noticed. So who knows how far off it was? But still, when you're up there, you know, 16 feet in the air in your underwear, and you know, granted, I had to make that clear. We were still in our underwear, and it's like midnight, after midnight, and the wind's blowing. It ain't raining at all, just wind blowing. And so she lifts me up in the telehandler. She's literally using a flashlight to light me up so she could see my hand signals, and of course I could see the building. So I get up there, clamp it off, you know, lightning in the background lights up the whole sky, etc. And I of course think to myself, damn, I'm like a lightning rod up here. So she takes me back down, and yeah, I think we secured a few things and headed off to bed. And that part of the storm kind of blew by and it quit, and then it must have been a couple hours later and it kicked up again. And it was windy enough that the RV was literally rocking in the wind without the awning out. And let me turn you around here. And then we hear this big crash, and I'm like, oh shit, well, there ain't nothing we can do about it now. But we knew that something happened with the tin. So this piece of tin is what I figured flew over, and it was just a piece that was sitting over there. But we had a whole pile of tin sitting on these pallets, and I don't know how many sheets there are left. At least 4 sheets there, maybe more. But so this pile of tin was sitting face up on these 2 pallets, and somehow the wind caught under it and flipped the whole pile up in the air and flipped it over. It landed over here on the opposite side. So it like flipped, and all the sheets and everything, you know, scattered apart there. So there's at least 4 sheets in that stack. So that ain't lightweight when you stack them all up like that. And yeah, it made a big crashing sound. We haven't flipped them over yet to see if there's any damage. I mean, worst case scenario, they don't look bent or anything. I imagine there might be some paint scrapes or something, and I guess we can fix that. So yeah, what a crazy night that was. But before the night, we had like our worst day thus far on this building. I'm just gonna call it disaster day. So when you're laying this tin out, there's a way that it's gotta fall. So these ribs are 12 inches apart, and this rib right here, it's got screws in it because this is what we call a stitch, so this overlaps the next one, and then you put a stitch screw in it to tie them together, and that creates your seal so that your panels don't leak. And then you need some flat area that goes inside of the door jamb. And you can see this door jamb has a lip that folds back here just to hide the cut edge, and it's, you know, I guess detail beautification thing, whatever. So anyway, you gotta have this flat part to go in to this jamb. So we put a piece of thermal break tape behind it. That also creates a better seal. You've got closure tape at the bottom. And of course, this is all gonna get spray foam from the inside. But this, you want a good seal on this. And when rain comes down, you see there's that head trim up there. The rain will run down the wall, whatever, into that head trim. Some of it will spit out the side, but some of it can run down this channel, and it'll run all the way to the bottom and run out. And that's the way it's created to, it's just another leak prevention technique, whatever. And so worst case scenario is that your tin ends like this. So we've got a rib that falls right into the gap. And when that happens, basically water will run down behind this rib and out, which is horrible. You don't want that to happen. But in addition, with this lip right here, it doesn't fit right, so it's literally pulling the channel away from the wall. I mean, it's screwed on back there, but it's bending it out because there's so much force that it doesn't fit right, etc. So that literally is the worst case scenario for your tin. The reason is, like I said, these ribs are 12 inches apart, which means if we hit here at 12 inches, well, it's exactly 14 feet to the next one, which means you're gonna hit another rib right on this one. And then it's like exactly 6 feet to the next one, meaning you're gonna hit a rib on the next door, and then it's 14 foot to that one. You're gonna hit a rib on that one, and none of your doors are gonna be sealed, none of your jambs, whatever, they're all gonna be just, that's worst case scenario. So, you know, this, I guess, comes back to amateur hour. We tell you from the beginning, we're going to show you the good, the bad, the ugly. This is the ugly. I mean, this to me is the worst case scenario for this tin, because it cannot be that way, which means we have no choice now but to take down this entire wall and make an adjustment that's going to correct that. So here's what we're going to do. So from here to here is about 2 inches. And so we're gonna cut right on this line here and remove that rib so that you got flat space that'll go into that jamb. Which means if we cut 2 inches off, this thing is going to move 2 inches over, which means everyone beyond that has to move 2 inches over. So then we got to check, okay, how's that going to affect this door? Well, this door right here has a very small area on this side for the stitch. So once we move this over 2 inches, this sheet of 10 is no good here. We have to cut another piece to make this work. That's okay, because it's only like 5 inches over to the stitch. So not much has been cut off of this, so hopefully we're gonna need a piece on the other side of that door there, and it cuts much higher than this walk door, so we should be able to cut all that off, reuse this piece, and basically no harm, no foul. But then we get to the other side and we see that we got a rib right here, and we're not far off. If we measure, we're 3 inches. So we got 3 inches of space here, but I couldn't cut. If I cut 3 inches, that means this rib is now going inside of this door jamb, so that wouldn't work. So if I cut 2 inches, I've got 1 inch left. This is just under an inch, which even if this rib comes, you know, right up against this, it's okay, because you still got the flat surface inside the jamb. Water can run down. It won't run inside of this channel, and that's what we have to make sure doesn't happen. So we're gonna probably have like a finger or less space between this jamb and the edge of this rib, which it'll work. I don't particularly like it. I don't know, I'd prefer more space, but unfortunately, if I go to the next deal and I cut it clear to here, that's cutting like 6 inches off. And if I cut like 6 inches off, 6.5 I think it came out to, then that doesn't work. It cuts too much. I don't have enough overlap down on the end, so I basically lose more pieces of tin, and yeah, it just won't work. So we've got to go with the minimum, which is that I want to say it's 2 inches, and we're gonna have to take down this entire wall. I think what we'll do is we'll just take it down a piece at a time, slide it over, put it back on, and keep going until we get to the end. Man, it sucks, but we ain't gonna quit. I mean, and we ain't gonna do a half-assed job. We're gonna do it right. So, lesson learned: when you lay out your wall, before you even put up a piece of tin, take measurements, mark out your 3-foot marks through the entire building. We did our 3-foot marks to this walk door, so we knew where we were going to fall with this walk door, but we didn't continue on. We didn't even think about it. We didn't think that, you know, what are the odds? Well, we just found out the odds were not in our favor, so now we're going to do extra work to redo it. The good news is we don't have to drill new holes or anything like that. I mean, the screws will make more holes in the back, not in the front. The holes in the front of the tin will remain the same. The self-tapping drills will just drill new holes in the purlin. So in theory, if we were to go to the other side of the purlin on the back side, you can see all those screws up there. So there'll be holes that aren't used, but guess what? We're gonna spray foam all that. You won't see a thing. So even if there's holes in that tin, I mean in that girt, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna weaken it or anything. There's no issue, and it'll be covered by spray foam. So there it is. There's the ugly. That's where we're at. Stick with us. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we cut off the rib here. Notice now it's all flat, which means it's pressing to the tape in the back, and we've got a pretty good seal. So we can go along here. I see it's got a little play there, but the tape's over here. There's going to be spray foam behind this, so I'm not sure in the value of going along and putting more screws in that, but we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fine like that. We ended up moving it exactly 2 inches. So measuring from this screw hole to that screw hole where they used to overlap, exactly 2 inches all the way. So that will solve our problem. Of course, now we have to move every single panel 2 inches. Fun. Here we go.
How many more? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to move. Right? Okay. Not too bad. All right, this is the last one. Finally, everything has to be done right. If not, we don't want it. So here we go. And that's how you do it.
A mistake that cost us a day's work. Taking down every single panel and moving it 2 inches. But we did it.